You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Right now at 7, authorities arrest a man wanted for shooting a man in early January outside of a Joplin bar. Also, city officials in Caney, Kansas say the outlook on their water situation is improving. We'll tell you why. And Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty will let us know what our rain chances are this weekend.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. It's 7 o'clock on this Friday morning. It's Groundhog's Day, and it turns out the groundhog did not see a shadow, so it turns out summer is almost here. Spring will be here soon. So a nursing home in Carthage is getting ready for the Super Bowl, and 104-year-old resident Helen Hubbard is a Super Chiefs fan and is counting down the days to the event. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has the story.
Helen Hubbard has been a fan of the Kansas City Chiefs for almost 40 of her 104 years. By walking into her room at the St. Luke's nursing home in Carthage, you can tell she's a big fan, which leads credit to her ability to try to turn people into Chiefs fans.
There's a few staff that are just uneducated. They root for somebody else. And I keep giving them lectures.
What do you tell them?
They're a little off.
When the Chiefs moved to Kansas City in 1963, Hubbard wasn't living in the area. For a while, her heart was somewhere else. But in the 80s, she moved back to Carthage, and she knew exactly which team to support.
We lived in California, and there were the 49ers.
How is your heart feeling right now with Chiefs and 49ers on the Super Bowl?
Well, there's no question. It's the Chiefs.
Hubbard is joined by other St. Luke's residents who are also big fans. Ron Tomlinson became a Chiefs fan as soon as the franchise moved to Kansas City.
Always loved Kansas City. They either won or they lost, and that's, if you got a team, you go with it.
For the Super Bowl, Tomlinson and his friend Mervyn Dale Hyde are optimistic.
I think it'll be a close game, of course, but when you get up there and playing them, you're always playing a tough team, you know. But I do expect Chief win.
Never an easy game. When you're playing in athletics, they're all hard. You have to give your best.
Just like Hubbard, they're counting the days.
I wish we had it this weekend.
In Carthage, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Just for reference, Chiefs fans had to wait 50 years between their first 2 Super Bowl wins, but things have changed, and in less than 2 weeks, they'll appear in their 4th Super Bowl in 5 years. We have another warm and windy day today, but we have chances for rain over the weekend, so let's send it over to Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty to see what we can expect.
Hey, good Friday morning, everyone. It looks like it's going to be another fantastic day for us today. Yesterday, we set record highs of 72. Out the door this morning, 52 degrees, but check this out. By the afternoon, it's going to be nearly 70 degrees. Now, there's southerly winds at about 10 to 20, so a little bit on the breezy side, but 65 by noon, 69 by 3 p.m. The winds increasing as we go through the day. They're not going to be super strong, but we are going to have gusts kind of sitting in that 15 to 20 to 25 mile per hour range. But what this does is it warms us up. Now, these winds are going to increase later on tonight and as we get into the weekend with our next storm system, which is going to be rolling into the area. This is going to give us rain all weekend long. I'm going to have those details for you here in just a bit.
And police arrest a Joplin man wanted for a shooting outside a bar in early January. 33-year-old Peyton Harbin of Joplin is now the Jasper County Jail. Police say he and another suspect assaulted a woman inside Joplin's Escape Bar on January 6 by punching her multiple times. They say witnesses then intervened and Harbin left the bar, but later confronted one of the witnesses and shot him in the abdomen and legs. That victim is still recovering from his injuries. Authorities Wednesday night learned Harbin was at a home in Webb City. They found him hiding in the attic and arrested him. Joplin and Webb City Police, the Jasper County Sheriff's Office, and the U.S. Marshals Service were all involved in that arrest. And a suspect in a Pittsburgh shooting death is in custody now at the Crawford County Jail after his extradition from Arkansas. Back in August, officers responded to a shooting at 202 North Locust Street in Pittsburgh, where they found Justin Krogan shot outside of a bar. Krogan died from his wounds, and the killer reportedly fled across state lines. U.S. Marshals officers arrested suspect Jemin Allen in Pine Bluff, Arkansas in December. Now he has been extradited and was transferred Wednesday to Crawford County, Kansas, where he is awaiting trial for first-degree murder. The trial date has not yet been set. In Caney, Kansas, city officials say they have about a year's worth of water. This announcement comes as the Kansas Department of Health and Environment lifts a boil advisory for the town. The residents of Caney have dealt with water shortages on and off for years. That includes a water emergency that was declared in the Caney in September of 2022.
What we have in Timber Hill, we think, is about 200 days roughly. With what we have reserved that's behind the the Lowhead Dam is probably another 150 days. So we have almost a year of water just even now as it stands.
Although Caney is still under a water watch, car washes and public restrooms have reopened. And the battle over minimum wage in the Sooner State heats up this week as the issue makes its way to the Oklahoma State Supreme Court. If allowed to go to vote, State Question 832 could raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2029. Supporters of the bill say the raise is necessary. Opponents say some parts of the bill are unconstitutional.
We're on the side of working families, and we're going to continue to fight to make sure that they see a pay raise.
Tying a minimum wage to a federally produced CPI index that's taking in inflation on the coasts of California and New York isn't representative of what the actual wage is in Oklahoma.
The minimum wage in Oklahoma has been set at $7.25 an hour since 2008. Up next, for the first time, an advertising company has settled an opioid lawsuit. We'll have the latest. And later, we'll learn about the warning signs parents need to watch out for when it comes to their kids having heart problems. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. In Health Watch this morning, for the first time, an advertising company has settled an opioid lawsuit. Publicis, a company that worked on Purdue Pharma's OxyContin account, was accused of falsely marketing opioids as safe. The agreed settlement of over $350 million must be paid within the next 2 months. In addition, the French marketing company will not take on any more opioid clients. Publicis worked on Purdue Pharma's OxyContin account, and according to New York Attorney General Letitia James, convinced doctors to overprescribe opioids. The company, in a statement, said it did not admit to wrongdoing, but hopes the payment will help the effort to combat opioid addiction. And there's a link between products containing the unapproved drug tianeptine and a cluster of severe illness. The drug is commonly called gas station heroin because it is often sold at convenience stores as dietary supplements. In the report, the CDC detailed the reactions of 17 adults in New Jersey who had used tianeptine during the second half of last year. Of those, 13 were admitted to the ICU and 7 had to be intubated. No deaths were reported. All but 3 of the patients reported ingesting Neptune's Fix, which contains tianeptine. But the CDC report says an analysis of at least 2 of the bottles found the presence of synthetic marijuana not listed on the labels. And yesterday kicked off American Heart Month, a time when all people are encouraged to focus on cardiovascular health. Heart disease is the leading cause of death among U.S. adults, but heart problems affect children and teens too. It may be more common than you think. Amanda Gaither has more on pediatric heart conditions and the signs for which parents should watch out.
In the U.S., nearly 1 in 100 babies is born with a heart disease or defect every year, according to the CDC.
Some of those might be more mild, but some can be much more significant.
Pediatric cardiologist Glenn Iannucci with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says not all heart problems are caught before birth. There are some conditions that can be missed in routine prenatal ultrasounds.
Really, that kind of underlies the importance of going for routine health checks with a pediatrician where they can listen And then certainly if there's any concerns, getting evaluated beyond that.
There are medicines and surgeries that can help with even the most severe congenital heart problems, but first the condition has to be detected. Iannucci says signs of a heart condition will vary based on the age of the child. In general, for infants, it may include poor feeding, trouble gaining weight, or persistent fast breathing even at rest. In older children, red flags may be persistent vomiting, chest pain, passing out during physical activity, or shortness of breath and poor stamina while being active.
In the teenage years, a lot of times we're thinking a little bit more about acquired heart conditions in that setting. Some congenital heart defects may have gone unnoticed until that time.
Iannucci says once a problem is identified, lifestyle changes may also help.
Perhaps, we don't want you playing really aggressive sports, but these are things that you can do that can help to keep you healthy without putting you at risk.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The doctor says some pediatric heart conditions aren't preventable, so recognizing the signs can lead to getting help earlier and better outcomes for kids and teens. Coming up, legendary rocker and guitarist Peter Frampton was one of the stars revealed on Fox's We Are Family. We'll be right back.
Well, of course, all week long we've had fantastic temperatures. We deserve it because we were in the deep freeze for about 2 weeks in the middle and latter half of January. And then this past week has been fantastic. We're going to do it again today. 55, 9 a.m., 65 by noon, 69 by 3 p.m., backing down to about 64 degrees by the time we head into the evening hours. We are going to have some clouds and the winds are going to pick up just a little bit, but still fantastic. Southeasterly winds, so we're talking gusts today, 15, 20, maybe 25 miles per hour. However, with our next storm system rolling in, these winds start to get moving a little bit late tonight and then into the daytime hours on Saturday. So now we're talking winds gusting 25, 30, upwards of 35 as we go into at least the first half of the weekend. All right, let me walk you through the next few days with our storm system rolling in. Mid-60s by noon. As we go into the afternoon, still mostly cloudy skies, but look at these temps. 67, 68, 69, 70 degrees. Tonight, clouds continue to thicken, and late tonight, so we're going to stop at about midnight. We start to see some showers on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. That's mainly where they're going to stay as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Rain increases. Kansas, Oklahoma starts to get into southwestern Missouri. So here's 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. As we continue through the morning hours on Saturday, periods of light rain across the region and then picking up again in our western counties. Here's 3:30 p.m. And then just on and off rain as we go through tomorrow evening all the way into Sunday morning. It's not going to be super heavy, but it's definitely going to be out there. So the rain sticks around. So we're going to go to about Sunday noon. Rain sticks around, cooler. We're sitting into the 40s. And then this system slowly starts to rotate out Sunday evening and then gone by Monday morning. But that means from the beginning of Saturday all the way to the end of your weekend, we're going to have the rain across the region, which stinks. But you got to remember, we need the rain. The drought is a lot better than what we had even 3, 4, 5 months ago. But we need to go into the spring with the rain. All right, rainfall amounts on the Missouri side, Arkansas side, I would say most likely 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. Once we get into Kansas and Oklahoma, could be a little bit higher. So maybe 3/4 of an inch. In some isolated areas could pick up about 1 inch of rain, which again, we need. Temperatures obviously are going to cool down a bit. All right, it's Groundhog Day, but 70 degrees. Which is crazy. 57 tomorrow, 48 on Sunday, but look at this. Sun returns Monday, Tuesday, back into the 60s. Chances for showers again on Thursday, then heading into Super Bowl weekend.
Legendary rocker and guitarist Peter Frampton was one of the stars revealed on Fox's We Are Family Wednesday. It was a very special performance for him and his son, Julian. Fox News' Ashley Dvorkin has the story.
Julian Frampton joined his rock icon father, Peter Frampton, on We Are Family.
You can immediately hear that it's him when you start hearing his guitar playing, and it's second to none. I'd be a huge fan even if he wasn't my father.
Peter is also very proud of Julian's music.
He's a very prolific songwriter and prolifically good.
They spoke about what it meant to share the stage.
The special thing is that we're still able to perform together right now, and my dad has a condition called IBM, inclusion body myositis, and that will eventually lead to him not being able to perform anymore. We don't know when, knock on wood. He's still going out on the road soon. He's still killing it and playing amazing.
It's all about family, and that's the thing that I didn't realize I was going to get so emotional about the fact that we were able to do this together. It meant so much to me.
Peter announced his retirement in 2019, but then a 2023 Never Say Never tour and Never Ever Say Never tour this spring. He also has several projects to follow.
I don't know when my hands are going to stop doing what I want them to do. They're gradually... I'm losing power in my legs and my arms and everything, but it's funny, whenever I pick up a guitar, it might not be quite the same, but I've adapted and I love what I'm playing right now. They said to me, do you want to go out in the summer? And I said, I don't think so this year, because I think what I want to do is finish this album I've been working on of all new material. And you know, also we're doing a documentary.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Peter and Julian are also raising awareness and funding through the Peter Frampton Myositis Research Fund at Johns Hopkins. Coming up, we'll see how one raccoon ruined a marriage proposal video. We'll be right back. It's hard to forget your marriage proposal, but one South Carolina couple's special moment has gone viral. And it's all thanks to their friend who was distracted while filming. Jeannie Moose reports.
Meet the marriage proposal crasher. It happened in Nathan Dimitri's Columbia, South Carolina backyard. A surprise proposal to girlfriend Kate Jones. But an even bigger surprise was what was on the proposal video, shot by one of Kate's best friends.
She got everything except for the kneeling part.
At the moment when Nathan reached in his pocket for the ring, Mary Dawson got distracted by a rustling noise. She says she turned her head and the phone went with her. And by the time she panned away from the raccoon, the "Will you marry me" on one knee part was over.
She was very regretful, very nervous to tell us.
Online comments like, "I'd be taking new best friend applications," didn't help. Are you mad at Mary?
No, not at all. We thought it was hilarious.
And they did have Kate's sister taking still photos from the other side. If you string together live photos, you get to see Nathan go down on bended knee.
At least it'll be a great story at the end of the day, so I'm glad that it happened.
Mary told CNN, "We have been friends since birth and have the exact same humor, which is why I knew she would find it hilarious." Are you going to invite the raccoon to the wedding?
That would be awesome.
Why let a raccoon come between two people who have been friends forever? Jeannie Moose, CNN, New York.
Well, leave it up to a raccoon to ruin a very special moment. Coming up, a boutique in Joplin shows its love for a domestic violence shelter. And Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty returns with another look at your Friday forecast. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:28 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. Well, with Valentine's Day coming up, some people may be looking for a new outfit to mark the occasion. KOAM's Samantha Walker tells us how one Joplin store is helping people celebrate while helping a local organization.
When you think about Valentine's Day, you probably think about words such as love and care. And that's what Second Chance's thrift store in Joplin is all about.
100% of the proceeds that come from our store goes directly back into Lafayette House to benefit the clients receiving services there.
The Lafayette House helps support people who are experiencing things such as domestic violence and substance abuse. The store is filled with donations from the community.
Some of my mother's things, some of my grandmother's things, and my things, because it goes to a good cause, and we want to help each other.
So whether they buy a new shirt or a new dress, customers know that their money is going to a local organization.
Well, if you know anything about the Lafayette House, why wouldn't you want to? I mean, they're doing a wonderful service for families and children, for single women and children.
The store manager says they curated a Valentine's Day collection to help showcase festive donations.
Valentine's Day is coming up, so let's kind of start pulling some of these pieces so that anyone who decides to dress up and celebrate Valentine's Day can come and pick out a thrifted piece.
And for customers, the idea of celebrating love while showing love for the community was perfect.
It's just a good fit. That's a pun, a good fit.
In Joplin, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
You can learn more about Second Chances and how you can help support them on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And we have rain chances over the weekend, so let's see.
Hey, good Friday morning, everyone. It looks like it's going to be another fantastic day for us today. Yesterday, we set record highs of 72. Out the door this morning, 52 degrees, but check this out. By the afternoon, it's going to be nearly 70 degrees. Now, there's southerly winds at about 10 to 20, so a little bit on the breezy side, but 65 by noon, 69 by 3 p.m. The winds increasing as we go through the day. They're not going to be super strong, but we are going to have gusts kind of sitting in that 15 to 20 to 25 mile per hour range. But what this does is it warms us up. Now, these winds are going to increase later on tonight and as we get into the weekend with our next storm system, which is going to be rolling into the area. This is going to give us rain all weekend long. I'm going to have those details for you here in just a bit.
The City of Joplin announces a major renovation project on Main Street. Starting next week, the city will begin replacing trees along Main. Joplin Public Works and Parks and Recreation departments will team up with Simpson Lawn Care to remove the invasive Cali pear trees and replace them with ivory silk Japanese lilacs and the fruitless spring snow crab apple trees. The tree says these smaller flowering trees are more suitable for downtown beautification. And yesterday was the first day of Black History Month, and the Boys and Girls Club of Southwest Missouri teamed up with U.S. Cellular to mark the occasion with an art contest. Club members created original pieces of artwork representing influential Black STEM icons. While the kids had fun, organizers say they hope that the event also serves as a learning experience.
From this Black History Art Contest, I hope that the kids are able to learn about Black history and learn about how these individuals pioneered and how they had such a great impact on our community and our nation as a whole.
The general public can vote on their favorite piece of art until February 15th, and you can learn more information on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. The City of Joplin celebrates one of its most prominent figures. February 1st marks the start of Black History Month. It also marks the birthday of Langston Hughes. Hughes was a Joplin native poet and activist. The Langston Hughes Cultural Society gathered yesterday evening to celebrate his 123rd birthday. Joplin Mayor Pro Tem Keenan Cortez tells us he's honored to serve his community just as Hughes did.
Humbly honored to represent not only my community, the Afro-American community, but the entire community. This is a huge day. It's a huge time in America that everyone is being celebrated regardless of their ethnic background. So it's a great honor for me to celebrate and to be represented on the City Council as a Black man.
Hughes was a poet, social activist, novelist, playwright, columnist, and a leader of the Harlem Renaissance. In a recent interview, longtime sports broadcaster Bob Costas says that the Kansas City Chiefs have replaced the Dallas Cowboys as America's team. We sent KOAM photojournalist Trevor Lewis to Pitt State to talk to some students and get their insight into the serious issue.
Sportsmanship, our coaching staff. I mean, you look at Andy Reid, you just know that he's a great coach and how far he's taken them over the last 2 years.
It's just collectively, if you can get a bunch of people to kind of rally behind a team, that's what makes the America's team.
You have to embody the general spirit of Americans. They have to be likable. They have to be the underdogs. They have to strive to victories. Nothing comes easy to them.
America's team takes on the San Francisco 49ers on February 11th in Super Bowl 58. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We have Shannon Becker joining us in studio to give us his big 3 news stories of the week. Plus, we have another warm and windy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon.
Happy Groundhog's Day.
Happy Groundhog's Day.
Spring is here.
I cannot wait.
I mean, how could you tell? You know, it's like 70 degrees today.
Right? I mean, like, go and get a tan.
That groundhog is true. Let's take a look at the big 3 stories this week. KOAM News Now. A young boy fell through the ice. About 12 years old, Joppa police tell us. The other evening at Mercy Park, a Joppa police officer, you can see there in the water rescuing the boy along with a good Samaritan who was just out exercising.
Look at that.
Yeah, he's wearing shorts even. It was kind of a mild evening that evening. They say, of course, in the Joplin climate, never get on ice. It's never, you have to have at least 5 inches frozen, and that happens like every 10 or 15 years here. Our number 2 story, KOAM News Now, homicide. A man from El Dorado Springs is charged in the death of a Joplin woman. Here is where he said the shooting occurred. He led police there after he was charged on Kitten Creek in Vernon County. And then he said after she had died in his accidental gunshot wound, he took the gun and disposed of it at the end of 2750 Road at the Osage River. Very remote location, very, very bizarre place. But the police now have the gun as part of the investigation. He says it was an accident. However, he did get charged, and friends and family of the deceased say they too had a contentious relationship for many years. Story we told you about first and will continue to follow. Our number 1 story, a 70-foot cross at the Pentecostal Life Center of Joplin. This was really fun. I spent quite a few hours there watching them set this upright. They've been working on it for about a year now to get all this together. And I thought on the ground, no, that's not too big. But when it gets up there, that thing is huge. It is really big. They've actually already finished the bottom part. There they are that day, earlier this week, they put the cap on. So you see it on Gateway Drive as you're traveling south from Joplin. And at night, you can really see it. It's really, really cool.
It's giving Rio de Janeiro vibes.
Yeah, there you go. It totally is. I like that. So you can see it at the Pentecostal Life Center. They also have a location in Monette, but no big cross. No plans for that. And then our bonus story of the week.
Woo!
Oh yeah, we talked about this earlier this month, but now it's our bonus story. The Tulsa firefighters sent us actual video of them saying thank you to Joplin.
Oh!
It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Like this firefighter here, he said, "Your comments, Joplin, kind of made me blush." Isn't that funny? So you can buy the Tulsa Firefighters Hot Shot Calendar for 2024. All the proceeds go to the Tulsa Fire Museum, which takes a look back at the history of the Tulsa Fire Department and then also looking forward in educating the next generation on fire safety.
I love that.
Really cool.
And I will definitely be getting a calendar because I want to give back to the good cause.
Yeah, exactly. She just wants some beefcake. That's it. I'm just
good
kidding.
for them.
The Joplin firefighters were like, do we have to do a calendar now?
Yeah, you're up next.
They're like, ugh, dad bods. I mean, yes, that would happen.
We love you, though, and thank you for serving and protecting us. Well, stick around because we got more news coming up right after this.
Well, of course, all week long we've had fantastic temperatures. We deserve it because we were in the deep freeze for about 2 weeks in the middle and latter half of January. And then this past week has been fantastic. We're going to do it again today. 55, 9 a.m., 65 by noon, 69 by 3 p.m., backing down to about 64 degrees by the time we head into the evening hours. We are going to have some clouds and the winds are going to pick up just a little bit, but still fantastic. Southeasterly winds, so we're talking gusts today, 15, 20, maybe 25 miles per hour. However, with our next storm system rolling in, these winds start to get moving a little bit late tonight and then into the daytime hours on Saturday. So now we're talking winds gusting 25, 30, upwards of 35 as we go into at least the first half of the weekend. All right, let me walk you through the next few days with our storm system rolling in. Mid-60s by noon. As we go into the afternoon, still mostly cloudy skies, but look at these temps. 67, 68, 69, 70 degrees. Tonight, clouds continue to thicken and late tonight, so we're going to stop at about midnight. We start to see some showers on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. That's mainly where they're going to stay as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Rain increases. Kansas, Oklahoma starts to get into southwestern Missouri. So here's 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. As we continue through the morning hours on Saturday, periods of light rain across the region, then picking up again in our western counties. Here's 3:30 p.m. And then just on and off rain as we go through tomorrow evening all the way into Sunday morning. It's not going to be super heavy, but it's definitely going to be out there. So the rain sticks around. So we're going to go to about Sunday noon. Rain sticks around, cooler. We're sitting into the 40s. And then this system slowly starts to rotate out Sunday evening and then gone by Monday morning. But that means from the beginning of Saturday all the way to the end of your weekend, we're going to have the rain across the region, which stinks, but you got to remember we need the rain. The drought is a lot better than what we had even 3, 4, 5 months ago, but we need to go into the spring with the rain. All right, rainfall amounts on the Missouri side, Arkansas side, I would say most likely 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch. Once we get into Kansas and Oklahoma, could be a little bit higher, so maybe 3/4 inch. In some isolated areas could pick up about 1 inch of rain, which again, we need. Temperatures obviously are going to cool down a bit. All right, it's Groundhog Day, but 70 degrees, which is crazy. 57 tomorrow, 48 on Sunday, but look at this. Sun returns Monday, Tuesday, back into the 60s. Chances for showers again on Thursday, then heading into Super Bowl weekend.
In Consumer Watch this morning, Subway's new footlong cookies are so popular you might have a tough time finding one. The sandwich chain introduced the footlong cookie as a side about 2 weeks ago. Thursday, Subway said demand has been so strong and unexpected, it has removed the cookie from its app and third-party channels like DoorDash. That's so it can replenish supplies. Subway CEO says the cookie's popularity is a sign that business is strong and growing. And it's time to start planning the menu for your Super Bowl party because the big game is in less than 2 weeks. With the right planning, you may be able to make this year's party somewhat cost-effective. According to a new Wells Fargo report, some big-ticket game day dish ingredients will cost less than a year ago. However, several other popular snack items and drinks are pricier. Wells Fargo chief agricultural economist says there are bargains right now on chicken wings and shrimp. A pound of fresh chicken wings costs 5% less than the same time a year ago. Frozen wings cost 11% less. Shrimp prices on average are down 6.4% from last January. Meanwhile, steak and beef prices are higher. And yesterday it was National Unclaimed Property Day, and in honor of that day, U.S. state treasurers are telling Americans that they may be among the millions of people who have cash assets waiting to be claimed. According to the National Association of Unclaimed Property Administrators, over 30 million people in the U.S. have unclaimed property. Not only that, but also unclaimed money from inactive bank accounts, unused rebate cards, uncashed paychecks, dividend checks, or life insurance policy payouts. It also could be securities from an old safe deposit box or an inheritance. If you'd like to find out if you have unclaimed property, the NAUPA has a state-by-state database. More than $4 billion worth of unclaimed property was returned to people in the fiscal year of 2022. And after years of strain on American budgets, some economists say that the Federal Reserve is making them optimistic. Meanwhile, a tax break package is moving through Congress with fairly strong bipartisan support. Amy Kelly reports on what the latest economic news means for you.
This is a surprise to me, and it is a delightful surprise.
Some economists think Americans are in for a personal budget boost. The Federal Reserve is signaling it could cut interest rates in the near future. That's after months of hikes and yesterday's vote to hold steady.
We're looking at continuation of the good data that we've been seeing.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell says the board is feeling confident about inflation, but not too confident.
He's the Fed chair. He needs to be super duper careful. I only need to be somewhat careful, and so I'm going to say we've had a soft landing.
That means reducing the rate of inflation without triggering a recession.
Now the question is, how close to that target, to that 2% rate, do we really need to get before the Fed feels comfortable cutting rates?
Powell says cuts probably won't start until after March, but rates on some loans are starting to come down already.
We've already seen mortgage rates come down a little bit in anticipation of those coming cuts.
Meanwhile, a $78 billion tax bill is heading to the Senate after clearing the House last night. It would expand the child tax credit and revive some expired corporate benefits. The bill has fairly strong bipartisan support. That has some analysts feeling confident about its chances, but not too confident. I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The tax bill has critics on both sides of the aisle. Some Democrats say it should do more for families. Some Republicans say it should do less. They argue it could de-incentivize work. They also don't want more undocumented immigrants to claim the credit. We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bells. Will artificial intelligence mark the end of music as we know it? A growing number of artists and industry experts say the high-tech tool is a double-edged sword. Fox News' Gary Balmerton takes a closer look at how the tool is reshaping how songs are created and even how instruments are played.
When Andrea Martinelli taps the outside of his guitar, the AI software outfitted to the instrument tracks his hand motions, kick-starting a beat that makes it sound like he's being backed up by a real drummer.
Basically, I can play drums and other synthesizers as I play guitar at the same time.
It might seem like magic, but in a world where AI can draft up lyrics to a song in seconds, reproduce the voice of a long-lost musician, and more, the high-tech programs are dramatically altering the landscape of the music industry.
I think AI can have its place in the music production chain, again, if it's guided in the right way.
A number of musicians like Youngblood believe AI can help spark creativity and lead them to new sounds.
It's never going to replace live music.
Others, like the rock duo Nova Twins, think it's a slippery slope.
There's not enough boundaries within it. I feel like it's just been thrown out there.
And some legal experts agree
that there have been a real proliferation of AI developers who have trained AI models with large-scale amounts of copyright works without actually getting any authorization for doing so.
But as the debate over AI regulation continues, advocates see a future where AI enhances a musician's abilities instead of threatening their artistic integrity. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
AI sure has made a lot of new things possible for us. We'll be right back with more news after this. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A suspect in a Pittsburgh shooting death is now in the Crawford County Jail after his extradition from Arkansas. Back in August, officers responded to a shooting at 202 North Locust Street in Pittsburgh, where they found Justin Krogan shot outside of a bar. Krogan died from his wounds, and the killer reportedly fled across state lines. U.S. Marshals officers arrested suspect Jemin Allen in Pine Bluff, Arkansas in December. Now he has been extradited and was transferred Wednesday to Crawford County, Kansas, where he is awaiting trial for first-degree murder. The trial date has not been set yet. In Caney, Kansas City, officials say they have about a year's worth of water. This announcement comes as the Kansas Department of Health and Environment lifts a boil advisory for the town. The residents of Caney have dealt with water shortages on and off for years. That includes a water emergency that was declared in Caney in September of 2022. Although Caney is still under a water watch, car washes and public restrooms have reopened. And yesterday was the first day of Black History Month, and the Boys and Girls Club of Southwest Missouri teamed up with U.S. Cellular to mark the occasion with an art contest. Club members created original pieces of artwork representing influential Black STEM icons. While the kids had fun, organizers say they also hope the event serves as a learning experience. The general public can vote on their favorite piece of art until February 15th. From four-legged furry friends to animals with feathers or some with scales, advocates say emotional support animals can help students deal with the mental health concerns. Meet Pebbles, the one-year-old mini chocolate labradoodle at Montclair State University in New Jersey. Students and faculty members say Pebbles presents at the school has a positive impact. School officials say they used to bring emotional support animals during finals and midterms until Pebbles came to the school. Pebbles is now undergoing her own therapy training to officially become an emotional support dog. And thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather today at noon. Have a great weekend.